And my intention is to have no more flats with some kind of solid rubber thing that it is not possible to flatten. Hence, I'm willing to give the pull needle a shot. So one of my experiments might be to put this needle in my tyre. This is a standard pull needle. This is the one that does have a small hole. Get the buzz of the squish. Untrimmed, by chance, just happens to fit absolutely perfectly and compressed into the 17-inch. It's an 80-90-17 tyre on a 17-inch rim. This will be going on. In New Zealand here we have metric millimetres, centimetres and metres, this sort of thing. Nice and easy. 1, 10, 100, very round, easy numbers. We still know about inches. A lot of people still use inches and feet. And we know about that. But my opinion on tyres and rims is I would prefer to push for, what do you call it? Consistency, continuity, all those sorts of words across the board of the industry. So as a person trying to buy tyres, and you do some tyre study, yeah, there's too many systems. There's too many ways of measuring it. You know, some countries are measuring the outer edge of the tyre and calling it a 20-inch, and then advertising this thing has 20-inch tyres or 20-inch wheels or whatever, when in reality it might be only less than that, or it could be some other number completely that doesn't match any of the related advertising material. Of simplicity, which is a 14-inch rim requires a 14-inch tyre. It's just so simple. Okay, this is a standard pull needle and it fits just like amazingly fits. I can't believe how well this fits. This is the off-the-shelf, absolute amazing. So that's that one. So I'm going to give that a shot, and I'm not sure how many miles I'll get out of it, but it should be very interesting to see. And for safety reasons, and riding in the middle of nowhere where there's no cell phone and it's like a long way to walk when you get a flat tyre. So let's see if I can ride the tyre dead flat. This is opinions of mine, not advice. By chance I have a flat this morning. Got my pull needle, and as you just saw, by chance my wheel had a flat tyre again. It's so many flat tyres. I was getting maybe 10 hours out of a tube. The tubes would snap away at the valve. Changed to tubeless. Now with this last one I got 2 hours of riding and it's flat again. So first up, I'm going to now try the pull needle. I'm not taking the wheel apart to do this job. This is retrofit. I'm slicing off slices of pull needle this big and squeezing them in. I'll demo that in a sec. And how long is this? I don't know. It's this long. High-speed video of putting this pull needle in. So, got the first one in not too hard, so we'll just squeeze another one in. Bam! So that's one in. It is late at night and I'm still working on the wheel, trying to get the tyre onto the rim. This is an older model which takes a long time to pull apart. That's why I'm not doing it and attempting to retrofit this entire pull needle into this situation. The pull needle is in the tyre now, so no air pressure, I haven't pumped it up. Seems rideable. So I think that seems like a fairly good test start, and as you can see, if I squeeze it in my hand, it feels like I would have pumped it up. Yeah, I'll be happy to ride home on that if that were my absolute lowest pressure. Do a few miles on it and we'll see what sort of mileage we can get out of it. Yeah, it's a bit squishy and squirrely, but it's rideable, and I think this is the main idea, is that what this experiment is about. If it were dead flat, how would it go? And here I am riding it dead flat, and this is just the cheap pool noodle in there, and I'm riding along, so it works. It works, and I don't think it's going to hold up very long, this pool noodle. You know, you can ride on it. You can definitely ride on a pool noodle. I noticed on the tar seal, like when carving, you know, it does feel a bit sort of swirly, and you know, the dirt bikers talk about the dead feel, and I think that's what they're talking about. But it's like, I can complain all day about, you know, it doesn't carve quite as nicely on a flat tyre as it does with a pumped tyre. But this is about the safety of riding in the middle of nowhere. Now, I'm not really sure if you had just a cheap pool noodle in your tyre and you were running it pumped up and you left it in there long term, how long would that pool noodle sort of survive inside that tyre, so that if the tyre were to ever go flat, you know, that the pool noodle would still be okay and hadn't sort of, like, you know, either melted down or whatever might go wrong with it. Right, I'll clock back in a minute. Well, sitting and riding on my flat tyre with my noodle, it's squirrely, but it's rideable, and I'm still riding. This is the thing, I would have been walking, and no amount of squirreliness is deterring me from the idea that I'm still able to ride, so I wouldn't have had to walk the other day. Well, I've ridden a few Ks and the pool noodle is toast. It's shrunken and sort of squished down, so it's pretty much dead in the water. But I was able to ride a few Ks, so I'm going to attempt to pump it up now and see if I can get back. Alright. A few more Ks on, middle of nowhere, and the tyre is just dead flat. The pool noodle is not a good thing, really. It just won't last, It's got no staying power whatsoever, and in a matter of just a couple of few Ks, it's just utterly toast, and the tyre's like on the rim, and I've got a way to go. It looks bad. Not good. There you have it, folks. It's not going to do the job. So, as you can see, it's utterly flat, and the pool noodle has got no bounce or spring left in it. It's like it's not even in there. So there you go, the pool noodle, couple of Ks. I'll look at the mileage. Okay, here we are filming the removal of the pool noodle. Maybe if the tyre had been pumped up and this was like your last mile. Anyway, this is the remains of the pool noodle that was in the tyre, and that's what it looks like. It's just completely minced to pieces. So here we are, we've taken the pool noodles out and we're about to try rubber balls. Got a couple of different ones here, but pretty good. So I'll just demo putting one in. Bam, straight in. Let's try that. Oh, I've taken the balls back out because the tyre ended up with like lump, and so it wasn't even flat. It'll end up wearing out on those individual lumps, and so no, I've called it on the balls. They are out again. Let's move on. Next up, I'm looking at rim locks. Now this weird, wonderful gadget is a rim lock. And what it does, it goes through the rim and it locks onto the rim and actually locks the tyre to the rim. Now this, I'm finding, is a significant little piece of apparatus that I think is widely overlooked, and I'm only just really getting into them. And I think what's notable is that I have been running tubes, and I've talked about, getting only 10 hours before the valve snaps off, or the rim is rotating around inside the tyre, and then the tube is being pulled away from its fixed position at the valve, and the valve snaps off. And I had sort of thought, well, maybe if we lubed up the inner tube, anyway, that could potentially work. But really the issue seems to be is that the tyre is spinning around the rim. And this small device called a rim lock, they're only cheap. This one was like $20. You can even get them cheaper. Supposedly holds the tyre onto the rim, and now I imagine that this is actually going to eliminate a lot of the popping issues of the tubes popping at the valves. Now that's great that I've learned that, after popping so many tubes, but I'm wanting to go past the idea of being able to even get a flat tyre. So this is why I'm going a step further. So in mounting this rim lock, I also have learned a few things, which is to consider the balancing of your tyre. And so the valve would be at the top because it weighs the possible opposite amount of this rim lock. But then I'm seeing people put the rim lock slightly off to one side. Now that's just, opinions. So let's just keep tacking that in there. So I'm looking at the rim lock very favourably at this point.